Aloha kakayaka and good morning to you, e komo mai. Welcome to the Billabong Dawn Patrol for day one of the waiting period. As we look at some happy faces, Betty Lou Sakura Johnson, Mikey broken board on dark as he was getting some practice in for what could be a big day of competition. Yo, all smiles this morning, already qualified for the Dream Tour, but she wants more at pipe. Some great Australians in the mix, and also a world champ and a pipe champ, Katie Simmers, in the draw to mix things up against the best on the Challenger Series, and a beautiful opening ceremony blessing with Lindy Irons on hand to celebrate the opening day of the Lexus Pipe Challenger presented by Billabong. Thanks for being with us. It's a new year, new feelings. We're at Pipeline for the Challenger Series, and I'm getting to hang out with my friends again. That makes me happy. I'm Joe Turpel, Jesse Starling, Ross Williams. JJ, you've had a very busy year already.
Yeah, I have. I've been here, there, and everywhere over the last couple of weeks, but I'm in Pipe, Joe. It's a big deal. I'm excited to be here.
Oh, so happy to be sitting next to you, and also local hero, Ross Williams. Ross, obviously one of your favorite venues on the calendar. Stoked to be in your company, and I know you've got some big expectations this week.
Thanks, Joe. It's really good to be here with you guys, and yeah, excited to drive down the hill and look at the contest right here. All year long, we watch these surfers around the world, but to have them here in our backyard is really fun. Really
great to just get to know this area quite a bit, you know, and really get to see the newcomers on how they're taking on sometimes their first sessions out here, but a lot to learn when you land in the airport in Honolulu. It's about an hour drive to get to the North Shore of Oʻahu, and this is where Ross got to grow up his whole life, surfing waves like this, and obviously before that, dreaming of surfing waves when you're a kid, and then making finals.
Yeah, it's insane. It's just such a special, unique place, and isolation is the main key word here. You know, we're in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, and a lot of things are going on here with the bathymetry. That's what we're looking at the bottom, what makes Pipeline so special. So you can see all the nooks and crannies. That's what somehow that makes sense for Pipeline and Backdoor. But if we pull back here, you're going to see this giant shelf, and that's what creates all the power that we're used to seeing here, not only at Pipeline, but at Waimea Bay. All these notorious surf spots, that's the secret sauce right there. That shelf creates a ton of power. But again, we're in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. We get exposed to all these crazy northerly swells, northwesterly swells, and it's just a very special place on the globe.
Very special place, and some special human beings that get to call this home right here. All those famous houses right in front of Pipeline were owned by guys like Herbie Fletcher, Jerry Lopez. All the big brands have a front and center view of it to check out Pipe and Backdoor. It's always the proving ground, always the biggest stage, and the Challenger Series getting involved here, and also will all lead to the Pipe Masters in December for the season finale this year. Guys, I can't help it. I just got sneaky word that we're on. It's going to be happening today on opening day. Women's round will be kicking us off. Potentially a big day for the women to tackle Pipe on day one, Jesse.
Yeah, a lot of these women's first time competing out here too. And some of these women who have been competing for a really long time maybe never thought they would have to be out there. So this is really cool. It's going to be a massive day. And I think just with the little bit of rain we've got, it's keeping the conditions nice and clean this morning.
Love it. Well, Ross, Surfline's been telling us we're going to have a ton of swell. It just seems like the wind could be the tricky part.
Yeah, we're going to keep it old school, Joe. We're going to have to literally wake up every morning and look out the window and see what the wind's doing. You can see right there, we're being introduced to tons of energy, a lot of swell coming from a great angle. You know, Pipeline likes a 300 to 320 degrees. That's that northwesterly angle, and we're getting lots of that. So that is not an issue. What is the issue is we're getting a lot of these weak fronts come right down on top of the islands, and that's creating wobbly winds. So we get these Kona winds, and that's no bueno. So we're going to have to keep an eye on the wind, but swell is on tap for us, Joe.
So nice quick call this morning. You're seeing today, this morning, will start growing into 5 to 7 foot faces and even bigger this afternoon. These are the next 4 days of the waiting period, JJ.
Yeah, the universal color of good waves is purple with Surfline, and we've got 2 purple days in there, but they're massive. 15 to 20 foot faces, Sunday 8 to 12 foot faces, but yeah, like Ross mentioned, there's a little bit of wind, but you take purple solid pipe any day of the week.
Ross, any of those days almost look too big?
Yeah. Too big, really good air wind. You know, maybe for some psychos like Eli, they're going to punt some huge airs at Backdoor. We'll see.
Well, a lot on the line for the Challenger Series. We have this event at Pipe and then Newcastle to find out who we're going to see on the championship tour in April at Bells Beach. The stakes couldn't be higher right now, Jesse.
Yep, the penultimate event of the Challenger Series. We've had a really big run this season. We've been to Europe, we've been to Africa, but it all comes down to these last two. Only two women already qualified for the championship tour, Tia Zabrowski, Yolanda Hopkins, but all 10 spots completely open for the men and open for the taking. And you think about the likes of Eli Hanneman being at home, just had a win here. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what that top 10 looks like after Pipe.
Big congrats to Yolanda Hopkins. You know, we've seen her throw the CT jersey on as a wild card in the past, successful eliminating Carissa Moore in an event in Europe, but now she'll get a full strike at it and then breaking records again. You know, Caroline Marks was before the youngest to qualify, and now Tia Zabrowski already breaking that, Ross. What a time for Tia to join the tour.
I'm just trying to catch up with her talent, and I've been watching her here on the North Shore the last couple months. She's here with her mom and dad, and she's a hammer. She's got so much power. She's going to be a wrecking ball with that power. Reminds me of Gabriella. You know, she's going to have that front hand drop wallet snap on lock, and she's going to do some damage.
Really looking forward to her competing in this one as well. We're going to take a quick break here on the Billabong Dawn Patrol. Coming up next, we'll dive into the men's Challenger Series rankings, focusing on that top 10. We'll be right back. We're on, starting off with the women's round at 8 o'clock sharp. That's in about 20 minutes from now. Just had a little bit of a rain squall come through, a beautiful blessing to come down on the North Shore of Oʻahu. Wide open beach to watch the action today if you want to come out and support these CS surfers on road to qualification today. As we talked about just briefly, the top 10 is stacked here on the Challenger Series after a really healthy start of the year. And now 2 events to go. It is still Eli Hanneman. That is world number 1, Jesse.
Oh, he's just been so impressive, you know, and I think to be knocked off tour, have a bit of a bad year, and to regroup, come back and just look so patient, so poised for an entire season. It's actually been really inspiring. It's been like a bit more heartfelt to watch him this year on the Challengers. So yeah, back at home, just a couple heats away from being back on the CT.
Yeah, it's a good mix, you know, in the Challenger Series. Kind of what you see most years. There's comeback stories. You know, we've got basically split even 5 guys that are looking to return in the top 10, and there's 5 potential fresh faces that are going to try to hang on to that spot from here to Newcastle, Ross.
Absolutely. And just speaking about Eli, you know, he had a lot of health issues. At one point, he couldn't even surf, couldn't get in the water.
Wow.
It was too painful. He had all that inflammation and the skin stuff. So he had a huge bounce back, got married. You know, he's kind of nestling into what we call in Hawaii that uncle zone. You know, he's got a little more authority in the water, and that's bleeding into his performances. You can see with the jersey on, he's got a lot of confidence. He took John down pretty convincingly at Gums here just a little while ago. So he's a danger man, and he's well versed. That's the thing I want to focus on during this event. All year long, we're looking at guys doing floaters and airs, and that is out the window here. And guys like Eli and Kauli Vost are very versatile. They're good at scary waves and performance waves, and that's going to be showcased here.
Good mix. Kauli Vost in the mix there. Big win in Portugal, but a lot of Australian flags, Jesse, in that top 10.
So good. 50% are Aussies. Actually, Oscar Berry, you know, another heartfelt story, didn't make it out of the opening round last year at all on the Challenger Series. Now he's semi-finaled a couple of times, and him himself is a couple of heats away from qualification. So love seeing the Aussie flags just filling up the rankings there. It's great to see.
So great to see. You know, the forecast is showing us we got a ton of surf. But if you do have to adapt at Pipeline, Eli could be one of the best out here, as he just won a regional at the end of last year and went to a crazy mix of airs to take out some of the biggest names at Pipeline, Ross.
Yeah, so this event here, we had a lot of north swells. So they're actually surfing 50 yards up the beach away from Pipeline at Gums. And Eli was really clever. He started the heat in the first 13 seconds right out of the gates and did a big air on a left. Everyone was going right all day, and kind of just, you know, held on to that momentum for the rest of the heat and surprised John and the rest of the crew.
Great to see Eli podium once again. He said he just feels right. He said not just his surfing and results. He's like, everything in his life feels good. He's learned a lot, and he said now just results are coming with him. So a dangerous sign for the rest of his competitors. And will Eli make the tour at this event. Let's break down the scenarios for a handful of crew that could clinch a spot on the CT here at Pipe. Eli, he can get it done if he gets himself into the semifinals.
Yeah, definitely. Eli, that front runner, semis is so doable for someone like him. Those names that we talk about being versatile, Kylie Vast, like you mentioned, needs a third place. Again, super doable for him. But someone who I actually really like the chances for is Jacob Wilcox. He's won an event already this season. He's competed out pipe before, so he already has experience and he knows how to surf in the tube. So I think Jacob, tube's a pretty good shot to potentially going all the way.
He's got some battle scars, doesn't he? Man, just a warrior of the QS and Challenger. CT, a wild card about 15 times, and also he's been on tour full-time in the past, so a big opportunity for Wilcox.
Absolutely. You know, as you said, he's comfortable in West Oz with all the power. Also, shout out to Sammy Pupo. He's been with a CT jersey on here out at Pipe, and he's had some huge performances in Tahiti and in Hawaii. So we haven't been talking about Sammy too much, but he's really good at Pipe as well.
Well, speaking of CT sensations, local heroes, maybe in the conversation of best at Pipe at the time being, Baron Mamiya is in the draw. Back-to-back Pipe wins at the Lexus Pipe Pro. Just rolling down the hill from his house to mix things up at the CS, Jesse.
Yeah, I can't get enough of Baron at Pipe. He is just so good. The way he engages his rail, the lines he draws, and to win at Pipe once is incredible. You know, to go against John, he's probably idolized, but then to do it a second year in a row. I mean, you guys were here right on the shoreline experiencing it, but Baron just seems like he's the guy out there.
We were talking about it earlier. You know, his heart rate is always at 40 beats per minute. You know, I think he's in Pupukea just eating avocados and just chilling. But then you put him in the water at Pipe and he lights up. I really like Baron. I've known him since he was in diapers, and he's such a chill kid, but he's a demon out here. He wants the biggest, scariest waves out here at Pipe, and he can handle it.
Hey, it's not like he needs more practice, but let the big dog eat. He wants the biggest
fun.
barrel of his life and to kickstart a great 2026. Much more to come on Billabong Dawn Patrol. We'll break down the women's CS rankings and make predictions on who might qualify at this event. We'll be right back. Morning, everybody. You're watching Billabong Dawn Patrol. Day one is called on, starting at 8 o'clock local time. In just a few minutes, we'll see the women's round get started, and local Chesney Gannat already with her jersey on. She told me yesterday she was so excited to be in the event. One of those fearless, up-and-coming surfers that just loves little sessions at Waimea. Really earned her stripes at Pipe quickly. She's going to be in that first heat of the morning, and we just got the message in. First alternate got into the mix as well. Vahine Fierro is into that first heat at the last minute. She was hoping it would all work out. We'll get to see the Tahitian play at Pipeline this morning.
She's the queen of Chopu, right? So let's see her out here, and I feel like just with that technique, this is going to be a good name to have in the draw.
That one's coming up quickly. We dove into the stakes and also the rankings on the men's side. Well, what about the women? Tight field, top 7 move on to the championship tour. As we told you, Yolanda and Tia already took 2 of those spots. So we've got 5 remaining to decide here at Pipe.
It's actually pretty exciting. Obviously, the first year we're seeing 7 women qualify. We're seeing that championship tour extend next year. Sally Fitz, she's so reliable. You think she's going to get there, but I actually quite like the looks of Nadia Aristabe. She's been really solid all year long.
That's right. So Pipe and Newcastle, 2 left. Ross, who's really popping out on screen for you?
You know, Indy's, she's number 7 right there, and she's a really good competitor. And, you know, there's such a condensed tour, the CS tour. There's only 7 events. They're taking the top 5 out of those 7 events. We still have Newcastle after Pipeline, which is such a pivot. You know, we go from barrels back to performance, and you're seeing that in the rankings. There's a lot of, this is going to be a shake-up event. All the other 6 events are normal, floaters, airs, you know, that normal structure of getting a heat win, but Pipeline is so different. So I'm very interested to see these CS women hit the lineup out here.
Great to see that European contingent just dominating the women's qualification scenarios as we now focus on maybe the next surfer to clinch a spot. 3-time world runner-up Sally Fitzgibbons can get herself back on the CT if she makes the final here at Pipeline.
Oh, Sal belongs on the CT. That's her breeding ground. She loves it there, and she's just so hungry for it, you know. And I think she really sets the standards for the rest of the women to drive and get that. Just like Kika and Nadia, they're going to need that drive because they have to win the event to qualify for the championship tour.
So good to see Veselko kick off with a win at Newcastle, and she'll have the benefit of returning to Newcastle for the season finale if she needs it, and she'll almost be like a defending champ in the same season.
Yeah, it's incredible. What's in the cheese in Europe? We haven't come up with a name yet. There's a Brazilian storm. Now, this is obviously a European storm. That rankings is pretty crazy there. So I think it's our job to come up with a new name for this European storm.
Kick us off, Ross, in the brainstorming. What do you have for us?
Storm is played out. So we're going to go with, I think the food realm is where we need to sit with this. Cheese sounds cheesy. So it's up to you guys. What do you guys think?
No, don't palm it back off. This is yours.
That's all I got. I got cheesy. We need to improve, though.
Cheese, yeah. You know,
the cheese storm?
We got to work on this. Yeah, the cheese storm. Not going to happen.
That's not good.
Well, someone who's bringing some cheese is, Katie Simmers. She's in the draw. Remember, Barron's the giant on the men's side. We got some giants on the women's side as well. Katie telling the world that pipes for the girls a couple of years ago, a world champ, and she's ready to take down everyone on the CS.
I think you were missing a word in that sentence there, but no, I'm kidding. No, she's so impressive out here. I mean, and I think she really blew herself away with just the level she just rose to at this event. And I think, you watch her and you watch Molly and how much they push each other, especially here at Pipe. This was the changing of the guard. This exact Pipe event that we're watching all these incredible backdoor waves from. But Katie, yeah, I think if you want to be on tour, guess what? You're going to get a run against Katie Simmers here.
And just breaking down what she does well in heavy water waves, and I guess more specifically Pipeline. What have you seen, Ross, over the last couple of years from Simmers?
Katie has got beautiful technique. She's a tiny female Tom Curran. She like you have some of these other women on tour like Molly who are a little more powerful, but what Katie brings to the arena is her technique and style. She's so stylish. But what I love about her, because I picture her at like J-Bay or lowers is where I want to watch her, but she'll take off on a late drop at Pipeline and get pitted too. So she's very versatile for someone who's known as being stylish and beautiful technique.
Looking forward to seeing Katie Simmers to see what kind of form she's in, as she'll be looking for a second world title in 2026. Vahine, first alternate, now in the event, will be in the first heat of the morning. Up next on Billabong Dawn Patrol, we'll talk about the locals opening round. We'll be right back.
Oh, it's absolutely firing out there. I'm Seth Muniz, and this is Pipeline. My paddle out spot, there's a little channel right here. You can kind of slip straight out. Pipeline isn't a perfect wave. It's a constant changing wave. It's like a big beach break on reef. You're constantly moving from the West Peak to over here by the back door for backdoor waves. There's a line up. There's a little imaginary line right here. There's other waves that are similar, but yeah, not like it, not like the big cave. Pipe, you hit that reef, you're in trouble. There's just big stumps like that are sticking out. You slam, it's like straight concrete. It's a terrifying wave. It's a life-ending wave. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of people. It's like the full battlefield out there. I think that's what keeps you alive, though, is like that fear of getting hurt and dying. My whole deal is like I make sure I'm making the best decision possible, and like when I turn around for that wave, I'm going. Pipe is good. No one really cares how everywhere else is. It's all eyes on Pipe because it is the most entertaining wave in the world. Anytime someone asks me where my favorite wave is, it's Pipeline for sure.
Welcome back to Billabong Dawn Patrol. Always great to hang out with Seth Muniz. Always love watching him surf anywhere, but especially here at the Bonsai Pipeline. Remember, he finished runner-up at the Pipe event with Kelly, where Kelly won that emotional victory a couple of years back. It was absolutely bombing, and Seth is so sendy. He put on quite a show that we will never forget. He's in the draw as well. So he checks off the box for CT top talent. He checks the box for locals that are coming in hot here to Pipeline at the CS. And it brings up the topic of more locals. You know, we've got a round to kick off the event with 20 locals that have been picked from their QS regional standings, the top 4, but also on past pipe performances. It's a heavy round.
It's a crazy round. And, you know, you think of Seth Moniz, his brother Josh Moniz in that round. So much talent. And you know what? Fair enough. The pipe locals here are incredible. And I think they're going to really ruffle some feathers and soak up a lot of the points on the Challenger Series.
So when you follow the Challenger Series, you always see men's round of 80. You know, that's just constant throughout the year. However, with the locals round, top 2 advancing out of those 4-man heats, it'll be a round of 90 for this event.
And I think it's such a spouner in the mix here. You know, it's so different from other events where you're putting this structure together of how to win a heat and performance-wise. You know, but out here it's like climbing El Cap. You know, it's with no ropes. It's such a specialty out here. There's a lot of fear factor. And you look at guys like Seth and Barron, like we were talking about, and they're just even keel. It's just another day in the park here. So these wild cards, they're going to put a huge test to these CS surfers. You know, it's such a diversion from the normal tour event.
Fun to look at that draw. One heat says Jamie O'Brien, Mason Ho, Eli Olson, and Lucas Godfrey all in the same matchup. I did not make that up. As we get things started with the first heat of the contest, round of 48, heat number 1.